I'm not gonna lie to you. I have probably been procrastinating filming this video for probably last 3-4 hours. However long I've been awake, that's how long I've been procrastinating, which I don't know why, because the concept of this video, it's so simple. Today, I just felt like sharing my hopes and dreams with you guys, and hopefully it does not get dashed. So without further ado, here we go. First one. End world hunger. While that may sound really far-fetched, I've always been a firm believer of, well, not always, I just recently became a firm believer, and if you can hold it in your head, you can hold it. If you can hold it in your heart, you can hold it in your hands. If you hold it in your head, you can hold it in your, something like that. If you can hold it in here, you can hold it out here. Meaning that if you, basically saying, if you can dream it, you can do it. And I believe so. And honestly, ending world hunger, it sounds like a big task, but it's a lot simpler than we make it out to be. And just in case you haven't figured it out, we can end world hunger, and we definitely have the resources to. We just, let me be honest, capitalism just won't allow it. If we end world hunger, that won't make, and it, basically how capitalism looks at it, I'm gonna get political for a moment. How capitalism, or economical, anyway, how they look at it is, if you take away the problem, basically finding a solution to a problem is a lot, finding a solution to a problem is a lot less profitable than keeping the problem alive and well and thriving. If someone has cancer, right? Finding a solution and end all be all to the cancer wouldn't be as profitable as the treatments and the medicine and the sustainability tactics that they throw on you for having the cancer. You see what I'm saying here? The end all be all is so much less profitable than the quick fixes. So that's why they won't solve it. World hunger, we just choose not to. Speaking of capitalism, switch the global market from capitalism to socialism. Now, I know capitalism is more of an economic model, and socialism is more of a political model. But get what I'm saying. I don't like capitalism in the least bit, and I've definitely become, I wouldn't say a political zealot, but I've definitely become more politically and socially aware in this past year or two. Ever since I've been on my spiritual journey, I've just been learning about what I like and what I don't like, and what I find joy in and what I don't find joy in. And joy in is just learning about politics. I love learning about the state of the world, because when I find out about a crisis like climate change and all that stuff, when I found out about it and realized it was a real thing, I didn't get sad about it. If anything, I was happy. Finally becoming more self-aware of the world, because I remember when I was younger, I used to look at, I used to think about when I'd be older, and I was like, man, I really want to solve a bunch of world issues. Like, I want to be an activist, I want to be a humanitarian, and I want to do all this good for the world, but I had no knowledge of the world whatsoever, because I was really sheltered as a kid, so I couldn't get out much so that I could see the real world, really solve those problems. So I was like, you know what, how are you gonna solve those problems if you don't even know what's going on? So as I got older, I started learning about those issues, and now I couldn't be happier. Like, I'm excited to solve climate change. I'm excited to switch to end fossil fuels and switch to renewable resources. I'm excited to go travel to other countries and excited to visit the UN when I finally get an invitation. And I'm excited to join these grassroots movements and clean up the ocean and clean up beaches and clean up communities and just build and bring life back to dead areas of the world. Like, I'm excited about learning about all this, and back to the original thing before I went on my tangent, but switch it to socialism. I think socialism is, I'm not gonna get too into depth, but I'm definitely a socialist. I like that kind of content. I like learning about it because the values that socialism has is definitely my values. If you want to debate whether it's right or left, I mean, the left is, I would consider myself left-wing, but the left is so far left nowadays that it's like, what I would consider is left-wing is now considered right-wing, which is really weird, because what used to be left was left, and what used to be right is left. But honestly, in the grand scheme of things, right and left are just one big old party at this point. So, but I like socialism and capitalism needs to die because it's killing us, it's killing the environment, it's killing, you know, countries, it's killing just the joy and the fun that's supposed to be taken in life. Like, life is supposed to be fun, life is supposed to be enjoyable, but capitalism makes it so that it's not. Visit all 196 countries and territories. This one, pretty self-explanatory. I want to visit, so there are, if you didn't know, there are 196 countries and territories here on the planet Earth. 196, give or take a few, you know, some are still undecided. There are 196 countries and territories on the Earth, and I want to visit each and every last one of them, with the exception of maybe Iraq and North Korea. But even North Korea, I would love to go see what that's like, because I hear it's interesting. Very, very interesting, to say the least. And that's another topic that I took interest in one night, and I went down a rabbit hole, is North Korea, and I just watched all the videos, and I was like, man, this is, wow, they are really a shit show. But 196 countries I would love to go visit. I want to go live in Canada. I already live here in the US, so that's one down, so I guess 195. I want to go to Mexico, and I want to go to Bolivia and Paraguay and Uruguay and Chile and Australia and all the entirety of Europe, so Italy. I was about to say Rome. Isn't Rome in Italy? I don't freaking know. Oh, and France and all of Asia. Just see it all. I want to see it all, damn it. Start a multi-billion-dollar company. Now, this one sounds interesting, but hear me out. Well, they all sound interesting, but basically start a multi-billion-dollar company. That one's pretty self-explanatory. I just want to start a billion-dollar company, and the company that I want to start, it's going to be a production company that I'm not going to say the name of, but it's going to be a production company that I want to be the CEO and founder of myself, and I want to own most of the stake in the company, and I just want to own a billion-dollar company and be a billionaire. I don't know, who doesn't want to be a billionaire? I mean, plenty of people, but I think it'd be fun, a lot of money. But me personally, if I was a billionaire, I wouldn't use my money, everyone says this, but I wouldn't use my money to, like, just for only my selfish desires. Of course, I'm gonna use a lot of it for my selfish desires, but I'm not gonna use all of it for my selfish desires. I'm gonna use a lot of it for, like I said earlier, my humanitarian work and my work as an activist, and I'm gonna use it for philanthropy and things of that nature. I mean, honestly, being a billionaire, I feel like it's kind of just a cool flex all within itself. Move to Canada. To put it simple, I love hockey, and Canadian men are fine as I don't know what. Mwah! A lot of them anyway. Also, have you seen the Canadian gems that we have gotten here in America out of Canada? I mean, like, just look at the facts. I mean, The Weeknd, Drake, Justin Bieber, Shawn Mendes. Don't even get me started on him. Oh my God. Josh Richards. It's just, the list goes on and on. So many fine men, too many to count. And homelessness. Once again, we make the problem seem so big and so ambitious, and like it's such a hard thing to fix. But in the US alone, I learned a statistic and it was crazy. In the US alone, they predicted that we have about 17 million, not thousand, not hundred, but million vacant homes here in the US. The homeless population of the US as a whole estimated would probably be, I think they said like 160,000 people. That is 160,000 people homeless and 17 million vacant homes? Babe, that's enough homes to end homelessness here in America, and probably the next 7 countries, like maybe 3-4 times over. Why do we still have homeless people? Like, I just never saw that as reasonable. Like, why do we have so many homeless people, but we have so many resources? It just makes no sense. Once again, if you can hold it in your heart, you can hold it in your hands. Or, no, I know the phrase now. If you can hold it in your head, you can hold it in your hands. There we go. Watch me still have it wrong. Work with Netflix. As I said earlier, I want to own my own production company. And a production company, if you don't know already, I kind of said that. I threw that term out there, and you may not know what it is. It is just think Netflix, think HBO Max, think Hulu, think Paramount, things like that. That is a production company. I want to own one of those. Mine, how I always describe it to people, is think Netflix, but better. That's what I want my I almost said content. That's what I want my company to be like. The thing is, I've always wanted to work ever since I knew I wanted to be a writer when I was younger, like middle school, going into high school. I always wanted to work with Netflix or work for Netflix. I was like, man, if I could work for Netflix, I'd be so happy. But then as I got older, I was like, wait, but why would I want to work for Netflix when I can do what they do and do it better? That's my philosophy. But I still wouldn't mind working with them, you know, pairing up with them and kind of, you know, just teaming up with them, or maybe even what I've been thinking of doing for the longest is selling one of my shows to them and making my show with them, making it the best that it can be, and then taking the money that I get from that show and then starting my own production company, like buying the syndication rights later and then showing it on my own network. Have 7 kids. This sounds like a lot, but hear me out. Me personally, I'm not a fan of the number 3. I don't know why, it's really weird. I just don't like the number 3. And partially because it's an odd number, but also it's an odd number. Sounds weird, but stick with me. It's gonna make sense in a moment. I do like odd numbers, like 5, 7, 9, so on and so forth. High odd numbers, numbers that just make sense. And the number 7 has always stuck out to me, so I was like, oh, I wanna have 7 kids. And I've already figured out all the numbers. I wanna have 2 boys, 5 girls, and all my kids. And if you're thinking, damn, that's a lot of kids to pop out, and that's gonna be a lot of, you know, a lot of the good stuff. No, it's still gonna be a lot of the good stuff, but I am not popping out that many children. Cause child, what do I look like? A baby making factory? No ma'am. We'll be adopting 6 out of my 7 kids. I'm gonna have one just so that I can know what it feels like. So you can't say I didn't ever do it. I have all their names planned out. Like, it's literally in my phone as a little note, and it's just titled my kids' names, and all of them, I have their first, middle, and last name planned out. Don't ask me how I have the last name. It didn't mind your business. But if we have twins for the last one, I'm not mad about it. 7 or 8 kids, 8 is my max. We're not having more than 8 because you got me fucked. Own at least 3 houses. Me personally, I like real estate. I like houses. I like architecture. It would only make sense 3 houses, and this is how I want to do it. So I want to have 2 vacation homes here in the US. I want to have 2 vacation homes here in Texas alone. Like, I want to have a country mansion, you know, out in the country, the rural area, 6, 7 acres of land, and have my city, well, no, it's not. It's gonna be in Dallas, but I want to have my city home that's gonna be on this really nice street with all these houses in Dallas, and I drive down that street all the time, and I love it. I'm not gonna say the name of the street because then you'll know where I live, because I'm gonna get a house on this street. Mark my words, come back to the video. I'm gonna come back to the video and you're gonna see. How I want to do it is I wanna have a vacation house in Hawaii right on the beach. And it's not, you know, that may sound like pretty normal, pretty standard. Like, oh, a vacation house in Hawaii. Okay, cool, it's pretty normal. But no, what I wanna do for mine is I wanna have a vacation house that is modeled after the one from, now mind you, I'm not a huge fan of Disney. Like, it's either you love Disney and you like live and die by it and you have so many stuffed animals of it, or you just, I don't know, it's kind of just like there and you don't really pay attention. I'm kind of on that side, like it's there and you don't really pay attention. Like, Disney's just not a huge thing for me. I don't really care for it, you know? But I definitely watched it as a kid. Don't get it messed up. I definitely watched it. But about the house from Lilo and Stitch, the one that Nani and Lilo lived in and Stitch lived in, of course, something about that house is like really appealing, like the outside and the inside, and I always really liked it. So I want to have a vacation house in Hawaii right on the beach that looks just like that house, inside and the outside. And, you know, bonus, if I can get a car, you know, if I can remodel a car to look like the one that they had. Yeah, did they have a car? I don't know, it's been so long since I watched it. This one's gonna sound really traditional and really plain and really simple, and say what you want about me, but it's definitely something I want to do. But last one is get married. Me personally, I've always been a fan of traditional marriages, and I've always been a fan of just getting married and tying the knot and putting a ring on it, so to speak, and having someone propose to me and get down on one knee and be like, will you marry me? And the whole wedding planning process. Now, no, I'm not one of those people that are like, oh, wedding, blah, 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 kids, domestic. No, I'm not one of those people. Sure, when I become a wife, I'll be, you know, pretty domestic, but I want to do things out outside the home as well. I'd love to get married and, you know, find a man that I really love, that I can raise a family with, and we can just do life with. Like, I'm not a fan of hookup culture and this whole not getting married move phenomenon. Now, don't come for me just because I said that. It's just I feel like we are so into new ideas. I feel like we as a society shifted from traditional to like being so into like the new wave and new ideas and new theories and the new way of doing things that we shun traditional values and we shun traditional things like getting married, having kids, having a family, home ownership, all that. I feel like we live in a world of polarization rather than exceptions. I don't like exceptions. I don't, sure. I feel like we can't just, why every time we find something new, it's like when we get it's like the new shiny object syndrome. It's like we have this new shiny thing, which at the time was tradition, right? And everyone loves that thing. Everyone likes it. It's like a new puppy. Everyone loves it. Everyone likes it. But then once another new puppy comes along and takes the spotlight, we get so focused on that and we love that. We love it so much that we don't give a fuck about the other dog. We don't care about the other dog. The other dog is whatever. The other dog could be dead for all we know. We just care about this new dog. We get a new shiny object and we replace the old. Why are we so about replacing the old when it's like, why don't we just have this? We have the tradition, we have the old age standard, but we're also adding things to it. But me personally, I've always been a fan of traditional marriages, and I've always been a fan of getting married and having kids and all that stuff, and I'm a very traditional person. That's where me and tradition end. Tradition says have a nice little small wedding, invite your friends and family and blah blah blah. No babe. No, babe, I want a big, elegant, beautiful wedding. And I want a dress that has a train so long that like 3 people need to carry it. And I want the dress to be so big that I can't even sit down in. And I want to have it in this big, beautiful, elegant church. And I want the whole 9 yards. When it comes to my wedding, I want it all. I want it. I want to get married and I want to have a big, elegant wedding. That is me. And that is also the end of this video, the end of this episode. If you liked it, give it a big old thumbs up and subscribe if you want to. I make new videos. I try every week, but it doesn't happen every week, and it makes no point continue to lie to myself or lie to you. I make new videos whenever, and if you want to stick around for that whenever, hey, you know where the button is. All right, but remember that you are beautiful and amazing and awesome and spectacular, and never let anybody tell you any different. And remember to never, ever, ever doubt your greatness. All right, bye. Oh, wait. Woo!